The US Secretary of State has pressed the Chinese leader not to support Russia in its war in Ukraine.
Now, Secretary Antony Blinken met with President Xi Jinping during a visit to Beijing. Let's now go to our North America correspondent, Jade McMillan, for the latest on this meeting. Jade, talk us through what the leaders discussed at the meeting.
Well, this visit by the US Secretary of State was really aimed at continuing to try to stabilise the relationship between the United States and China. The last time that Antony Blinken was there was a moment of high tension about 10 months ago. That trip came in the aftermath of the spy balloon saga, when the US had shot down a Chinese surveillance balloon that had come into its airspace. So since then, US President Joe Biden has sat down face-to-face with Chinese leader Xi Jinping. And today Antony Blinken spoke about some of the areas of cooperation, areas in which the two countries are trying to work together, like on the issue of fentanyl, which has become such a massive and very deadly problem in the US. But there are still many areas of difference. Antony Blinken says that he used his meetings with Xi Jinping and with his Chinese counterpart to reiterate US concerns about Chinese aggression in the South China Sea. And he says he also urged China against supporting Russia in its war with Ukraine by supplying materials that are being used by Russian defence industry.
China is the top supplier of machine tools, microelectronics, nitrocellulose, which is critical to making munitions and rocket propellants, and other dual-use items that Moscow is using to ramp up its defense industrial base. A defense industrial base that is churning out rockets, drones, tanks, and other weapons that President Putin is using to invade a sovereign country, to demolish its power grid and other civilian infrastructure, to kill innocent children, women, and men. Russia would struggle to sustain its assault on Ukraine without China's support.
Now, Jade, what about this other controversial issue? You know, the future of TikTok in the US. Was that discussed?
Well, this visit came in the same week that Joe Biden signed legislation that would effectively ban TikTok in the United States unless its Chinese owner sells the platform. Now, ByteDance, the Chinese owner, says it has no plans of doing so, and TikTok has vowed to fight this measure in the courts. The reason for the legislation was US concerns about China perhaps being able to access user data, the data of TikTok users. Now, with that vow to fight this measure in court, that could lead to lengthy delays. But even if that doesn't happen, this move wouldn't come into effect for a number of months. Nonetheless, it is a very controversial decision on the part of the US Congress and then Joe Biden in deciding to sign this into law. It is a topic that has been discussed previously between Joe Biden and Xi Jinping, but Antony Blinken says that it wasn't raised in his discussions.
All right, Jade McMillan, thank you so much for that. Jade McMillan there speaking to us from Washington. Thank you.